I am clearly the last ancestral dragon in the world. Yet some auntie is selling me cheap at a wet market like a common loach. Little do they know that in 1 month, the Western elder gods will unleash monstrous beasts upon the human world, and China, its mythological lineage long severed, will face a slaughter without precedent in all of history. I have 1 month to protect China through my devour plan, and right now I'm still a loach. The auntie stood before the water basin, prodding my head with a net scoop, her face full of contempt. I thrashed furiously inside the basin in outrage, trying to let out a dragon's roar, and managed only to blow a mud bubble from my mouth. An electronic chime rang through my mind. Unable to manifest true form, requires ingestion of heaven and earth spiritual materials. Just then, the fish vendor scooped me out of the basin with one hand, and slammed me hard onto the reeking chopping board, cleaver aimed straight at my vital point. At that critical moment, a row of bulletproof vehicles came crashing straight through the market's heavy iron gate. Before anyone had a chance to react, dozens of fully armed special forces soldiers poured into the wet market. The pitch-black muzzles instantly locked onto the fish vendor who was still clutching his cleaver. "Drop it, everyone get down." Every auntie and uncle in the market screamed in terror. Li Jianyun was sitting across from a demolition notice, sighing heavily, when suddenly, his deputy came tumbling and scrambling into the room. "Something's happened outside. There are a bunch of black cars. The entire market is surrounded!" Before he could even respond, the sound of perfectly synchronized military footsteps echoed from the hallway. A woman walked in at a measured pace. When Li Jianyun made out her face, he felt as though he'd been struck by lightning. Liu Shuyao, sole daughter of Liu, the wealthiest man in the country. Effective immediately. I am assuming full authority over this market, on behalf of China's Supreme Elder Council. Li Jianyun went pale with shock. Could it be that beneath all these cabbage-strewn floors, some national treasure lay buried? Seal all exits, especially the seafood section, without my authorization. No one touches anything. Li Jianyun noticed that Liu Shuyao's expression was deeply unsettled. Just then, the walkie-talkie crackled. "We've got a major problem. The giant python from next door has escaped and gotten into the seafood section." He broke into a sprint toward the seafood section. But Liu Shuyao was even faster. The moment she saw the aura radiating from the python, Liu Shuyao was convinced this was the divine dragon she was looking for. Meanwhile, lying on the chopping board, I stared at the golden giant python before me. To say I wasn't scared would be a lie. In my current state, I wasn't even enough to fill the gap between this monster's teeth. The python flicked its scarlet forked tongue and lunged for me, and just as its fangs came within 0.01 centimeters of my head, I unleashed a silent tremor from the depths of my being. A roar of the soul. In that instant, without a single physical movement, a terrifying draconic pressure erupted outward like an invisible nuclear shockwave, spreading in all directions. That 3-meter golden python, mere centimeters from me, froze with an expression of pure terror. And as everyone watched in astonishment, it slowly backed away. In that moment, the blood in my veins came to a full boil. Ding. Dragon might suppression successful. Target has entered soul paralysis state. Devouring this mutant bloodline will yield 0.1% awakening progress. I lunged, actually charging straight at the python's vital point. The python was sent flying by my impact, and in a panic tried to slither toward the exit. But all exits had long been sealed by the special forces. I opened my tiny mouth, and in full view of everyone, began frantically absorbing the energy within its body. The entire room stood slack-jawed. A divine feat. This is a miracle. I'm pouring in 10 billion immediately to transform this place into the most heavily secured restricted zone on the planet. And get me the finest meat available right now. The best Wagyu, the most premium deep-sea swordfish. Send as much as you can get. Li Jianyun's mind went completely blank. He had actually been treating a freak black loach that ate snakes, like some kind of ancestor. By now, my body had grown to over 1 meter in length, and my scales had fully transformed into black gold dragon scales. Liu Shuyao turned to Li Jianyun. From this moment on, every single person present today is to immediately sign a classified non-disclosure agreement. Liu Shuyao understood better than anyone. In 1 month, those sky-blotting, sun-darkening Western monsters and elder gods would descend. She had to pour every resource available into that 1 month to bring the divine dragon to its complete form. In the pool, I let out a burp, yet the void inside me, like a black hole that could swallow the universe, was still howling with hunger. Then, a thunderous boom rang out overhead. I looked up and froze. A cold mechanical arm was dangling half a pig right above me. I shook the tiny horns just beginning to grow from my head and immediately pounced. System notifications flooded my mind in a frantic stream, and in less than half an hour, over 200 jin of meat had been devoured by me. Not even a sliver of bone remained. At the same time, at the Liu family estate in Yanjing, 10 billion to buy a seafood market. What on earth are you thinking? Bother, this matter concerns the very survival of all of China. In the days that followed, the moment I opened my eyes, the mechanical arm would deliver premium cuts of flesh and blood. The rate at which I was growing shattered the worldview of every staff member present. The tempered glass tank, originally designed for large aquatic creatures, was now crammed full, with my body alone. Liu Shuyao gave a wave of her slender hand and ordered all the cold storage warehouses to be opened up and connected. In just 1 day and 1 night, a massive underground clearing was carved out, an ecological space spanning over 100 meters. It was fitted not only with armor-piercing round-resistant glass panels, but also with artificial rockeries to simulate a natural habitat. When I was transferred there the next day, my body had undergone another terrifying explosion in size. Beneath the dragon scales on my underbelly, 4 powerful masses of flesh had begun to bulge outward, dragon claws on the verge of bursting through. By the 3rd day, my length had broken through 15 meters. My colossal body lay coiled within the 100-meter ecological garden, each breath exhaling a billow of twin-colored mist. Quite a few of the outer perimeter feeding staff had their mental defenses crumble. They were sobbing and demanding to resign and leave. Liu Shuyao knew that news of the ancestral dragon would leak out sooner or later. She gave the order. Confiscate all communication devices. 1 full month in the restricted quarters. Salaries raised. First payment up front. Under that cost-no-object supply of food, the originally black gold scales had fully transformed into luminously gleaming golden carp scales. The bumps on my head had become dragon horns, and I had unlocked beginner dragon might, cloud riding, and mist treading. True dragon breathes fire. The supervisor outside the bulletproof glass was so terrified, he collapsed to the ground. How did the black loach in the tank turn into this? Wait, Am I seeing things? That looks like a dragon. Director Zhang, you're not seeing things. He is a dragon. China's dragon. Zhang Nantian drew a sharp, cold breath. Just then, a head of security burst through the door, drenched in sweat. We've got a major problem. We don't know which resigned employee leaked it online, but there are reporters and independent media swarming outside. Such a colossal force. A proper way to deal with it had to be found. The system's voice then rang out in response. Detected. The thoughts in the host's mind? Please choose. Lead the Dragon Clan into the Dragon Hand Tribulation. Gain the achievement of the Undying. Extermination of clan averted. Dragon Clan assumes command of the Four Seas. To take dominion over the waters of the Four Seas. Reward. Primordial Spirit Treasure. 1 drop of Chaos. Sacred Dragon Essence Blood. Seeing the choice presented by the system, you chose without hesitation. Congratulations, host, on making your choice. Reward. Primordial Spirit Treasure. 1 drop of Chaos, Sacred Dragon Essence Blood. Before the system's voice had faded, you immediately felt that within the Crystal Palace, a spirit treasure had appeared. The Chaos Sacred Dragon. That was one of the 3,000 demon gods, who had existed in the same era as Pangu. At its peak, its power rivaled Pangu himself. To think that the system had actually been able to extract a single drop of the Chaos Sacred Dragon's essence blood, gazing at the pitch-black blood before you, dark as ink, yet radiating a vitality so intense it had reached the absolute extreme of living energy, sensing the terrifying aura contained within it. Your eyelids could not help but twitch. Above the clear and cloudless eastern sea, a sudden bolt of lightning struck from a clear sky. Amidst the crackling of electricity came a faint aura of destruction. You immediately sensed something was wrong. Knowing it must be the Chaos Sacred Dragon's essence blood, that had triggered a response from the Heavenly Tao. Anything that even the Heavenly Tao feared was surely something extraordinary. You opened your mouth and directly swallowed that pitch-black essence blood whole, and immediately felt a force of utterly savage violence explode within your body in an instant. Even your true dragon body, which was nearly undying and inextinguishable, suffered devastating damage. You let out a great cry, and directly manifested your 10,000 Jang. Dragon form, bloodied and dripping, waves of explosive force burst outward. Every Dragon Clan and Water Clan member within the Eastern Sea all sensed that faint power of destruction emanating from the heavens above, and were each frightened out of their wits, unable to comprehend what on earth had happened. Countless powerful beings across the Honghuan continent sensed the aura fluctuations from the Eastern Sea, and turned their gazes in that direction. Even the ancestral Qilin and the primal Phoenix, who were locked in fierce battle, came to a stop as one